Good evening and welcome to another episode of Clearly Ambiguous. So initially, I thought that I'd probably start regularly I would start doing regularly 2 episodes a week. But whatever happened this week, basically yesterday, made me realize that probably need to do another episode. Firstly, it is extremely hot. As you know, Indian summers can be really hot and miserable, and because of that, I got this new haircut because sweating away to. And the moment I got that haircut, it started raining where I'm at, and the weather is nice, lovely, and pleasant right now. Unfortunately, for our neighbors, there has been a different sort of rain thanks to our boys in the Indian Army, Navy, and the Air Force, who have inflicted major damage on terror infrastructure and the terrorists within that infrastructure across the line of control and deep into Pakistani territory as well. Now, this was something that our Prime Minister vowed to do, because obviously he said in his speech that we will go to the ends of the earth, and in our case we don't have to go so far. Basically, it's happening in our neighborhood. Now, our neighbor likes to deny that, and we'll come to that later because that's what they're good at. So, what basically happened, right? So because this is what the Pakistanis are good at. They like to, there are only two things that are made in Pakistan. One is their propaganda, and secondly is dastardly terrorists that they export everywhere, right? And to their own country as well, because that's what happens, right? And they keep saying we are suffering. Yes, you are suffering at the behest of something that you've created. Those are the choices, those are the conscious choices that you've made. And you've accepted making these choices. For ages, they have denied it. So let's come to something which is called the Pakistani doublespeak. Now, we always in India have been disappointed about the fact that we've been saying this. We know this has been happening since 1947, since India gained its independence. This has been happening since then. Right? They've always tried to had this doublespeak because the origin of Pakistan was based on the fact that they just couldn't live together. The two-nation theory, which was invented, so to speak, and said people who are basically fought for independence together now could not be together, and they needed a different nation, so to speak, on religious grounds. That happened. Now we have a Muslim population that's bigger than Pakistan in our country, right? And yes, we might have our differences within our country, but essentially we've been together and they have not been. Right? They keep pushing divide into India, but somehow what is getting divided is they themselves. Right? The ideology on which the birth of that nation happened did not even survive for about 30 years. And in 1971, Pakistan basically split into two. And now it probably might split into 3, 4, 5, whatever. And that's no thanks to us. That is basically the fact that they have a set of people. And let's go back to the speech of General Munir a couple of weeks back, who basically thinks that, that they are of superior. It was a rant. It was a rant by a sycophant. Megalomaniac, so to speak. See, if anybody wanted to doubt our professionalism, you should look at the action that we've taken. It has been precise. It has been deadly. And then again, we have basically come after that, and hats off to the professional lady officers of our forces. That is what is professionalism. It was metered. It was not. It was devoid of emotion. That is how it has to be. It was not supposed to be a rant. The ladies conveyed their message, and that's the end of it. And what was this gentleman doing to the diaspora that he had? He wanted them to basically indoctrinate their children of this you know doctrine that they want to follow, that they have to be superior. And if you look at it, it's a I don't know, it's a religious, a racial jibe at the fact that Hindus and there are still people in our country who would say, you know what, probably we should talk to these guys. How do you talk to somebody like this? You think he'll come to a table and he'll listen to you? He'll go on his rant, and that's what he's been doing. He's been ranting in auditoriums. He's been ranting on top of his tanks, while there is so much of discontent against him. But then again, yes, nothing rallies Pakistanis together when you have to rally them around and said, okay, the Pakistanis have been ranting a slogan where they say that it's the uniform that is behind all this. Right? Now, let's talk about the doublespeak. And a lot of frustration in India is about the fact that, Pakistan has always been able to push the West towards believing that, they've sold the idea to the Americans, you need to weaponize us, you need to give us more and more and more. You need to give us F-16s, armed to the teeth, because we have to fight terrorism. And why? Right? And everybody, and that's what they basically get their way by putting a gun to their own head. Okay, listen, if you don't give us what we want, our nuclear arsenal might be in threat, and you need to give us more. And the moment they get more military arsenal, and that's what they sell. And now that they do not receive that from the United States or other Western powers, because they also realize the Western powers have actually suffered as much as probably India has suffered. And the basis of the terror infrastructure that is part of our neighbors' policy, state policy. And they can deny it as much as they want, fine. That's what they do. They are very good at denying everything. But we have to understand that, chor machaye shor is something that we say here in Hindi, that, the guilty conscience pricks the mind. So, back in the day, there was this BBC documentary, right? You try to find it today, you won't be able to find it on YouTube or easily accessible. There's like one part of it and it is, the title of it is Secret Pakistan, right? So you should search for it, and you should probably watch both the episodes. And you'll be amazed by the fact that BBC, one of the most left-leaning organizations, who has so much to, and they've done a marvelous job at basically mentioning what has happened, right? And where Osama bin Laden was found. So that's what it is. Now, let's come to doublespeak of Pakistan. Now, first thing that Pakistanis always do is that they go into deniability, right? Now, if you look at what happened in Pahalgam, there was a group which is linked to the LET who claimed responsibility for it, right? And now what has happened? They have retracted. Now, you're like, why? Because they suddenly realize, oh, hang on. This might not get the narrative that we want. Let's now disown the fact. And they think that world is now so naive that we'll believe that, okay, why would you want to, they always wanted to do this false flag narrative and everything, that Indians probably did it on their own. Point is, why would you want to claim responsibility for something that we might have done, right? So obviously it is you. You wanted responsibility. You did something like this. It is known right now that those particular dastardly, cowardly men that did that cowardly act in Pahalgam were in fact not even militants. They were, I don't want to use the word terrorists in the other sense, but were actually probably army regulars, disguised as, So you want to create a new narrative, because that's what probably suits your purpose. Because when they saw that India started talking tough suddenly and said that everybody in India said that we need a response. right? There are obviously some people here and there, and we'll come to that by the end of the video. The Aman Gyasha gang and certain people who have their own politics, and that's the reason why they probably make certain statements a certain way. We'll come to that later. But if you look at their doublespeak, that's where it started. It starts right when the act happens. Claim responsibility, not claim responsibility, create that confusion, go back to it. Now, eventually, when they realize that there is going to be an action taken, go to the world and start screaming, shouting that, de-escalate, we are peaceful. When you see the Indus water treaty, the water is getting stopped, they're like, stopping water is an act of war, coming across LOC is act of war. We are going against the terrorists, right? We are probably hitting those terrorists. You keep saying you are also suffering that terrorism. So if you have no intentions, or probably if you do not have the resources to go after the terrorists who are hurting you, allow us, we'll do it for you. Right? Why do you have a problem? If you say these are non-state actors, so fine. We'll do it for you. We'll eliminate. No. Then it is attack on our sovereignty. Okay, let's go nuclear. You close our water, let's go nuclear. Do you do this? Let's go nuclear. And that nuclear bogey, I think there is a lot of memes out there, thanks to the Pakistanis. They're lovely creators, by the way. They're amazing creators. Like, one thing that I wanted to mention here was that 10-14 days that we took to come up with exactly what we wanted to do and do our preparations and countermeasures, so on and so forth in place. Pakistanis went into content creation. Look, these are our artillery pieces being moved. Look at our tanks in the streets. Look at our chief of army staff standing on top of a tank and lecturing the soldiers. So basically they started creating content, right? Because, they have somehow realized that because digital warfare, right? And everybody keeps thinking that digital warfare will be something like, something that will come out of Hollywood, like Terminator, autonomous machines will, cyborgs will start fighting. But this is what it is, information warfare, right? This is what Pakistanis are trying to do. They are actually believing the fact that if we win this on Twitter, we have won. And the world needs to see this as well. So what happens? They immediately after this, they have downed Rafales, they've downed this, we have all aircraft and men who participated and are accounted for, and they're back. And I would like to also urge everybody within India to basically, because this is what they'll start doing. They're comedians. There is a comedian that I used to follow, and he is busy last 24 hours creating reels. And okay, let's address this. So to all those who are creating this content, that we named this Operation aptly Sindoor, and I hats off to whoever named, and yeah, by the way, it's the Prime Minister Modi's idea, who named this Operation Sindoor, because obviously that is what they went after, the dastardly men of Pahalgam. That is what they went after, the Sindoor, symbolic of the Indian bride, Indian Hindu bride. They went after the Sindoor, right? And now that we've named it Operation Sindoor, Pakistanis suddenly have started saying, oh, Suhag Raat. Now, let's come to the fact that, okay, so hang on. So probably because they don't have any Hindus left in their country, because either they have killed them or converted them all. This is how it works, my friends in Pakistan, that the one who fills the Sindoor, he's the one who's going to do the Suhag Raat as well. So even in that case, you will still be at the receiving end, right? So it's not, the one, right? Okay, so if you understand. So if you need Suhag Raat, we'll probably oblige you with that as well, right? So they had downed these aircraft, they had downed this, that and the other. And I love the fact that Pakistanis unravel their own lies and denials on their own. We do not need to see. They start saying there has to be a comprehensive investigation. You just wait long enough, look them in the eye, and just say quiet. Pakistanis will end up telling you how they even conducted this Pahalgam attack. They'll tell you. Remember the time of Balakot airstrike, right? We ended up using spies. We mentioned that. We ended up using Miraz. We mentioned all that, right? And they flatly denied. Then they took some foreign journalists and they said we had attacked civilian targets. So there was an attack. So basically they were agreeing a strike had happened, right? Now, in a recent Mouthpiece report, Turkish website report, which is named as the Asian Defense and Security, they said that they have been able to jam our Rafales, right, which were carrying spice. And if you read the second paragraph of the report, they actually say this is the same spice which was used in Balakot. So what happened to your deniability there? You just accepted Balakot happened to you guys, right? And at the same point of time, for all those people within our own country who did not believe that Balakot airstrikes happened, look at what they are saying, right? So it's so funny because they end up saying this and then they end up saying something completely different. Like the defense minister who was saying until 2 days back that, the history will remember if we are attacked, nobody will survive. So that statement itself is an oxymoron because the reason is if nobody will survive, who will read the history, right? Who are you writing that history for? Then history, probably aliens will come and they'll say, oh, so it was these guys who were responsible for destroying everybody on this planet. And what are they going to say? What do you think they're going to say? They're going to say, oh, what a bunch of morons. Right? Another thing, probably we Indians need to think, and probably other people in the other parts of the world need to think. We always keep thinking that, terrorist setups and everything in Pakistan, because probably we should have started thinking when Osama bin Laden was found in Abbottabad, which is basically a military town. Their officer training academy is there in Abbottabad. We should have probably realized, and everybody should have realized, that, it's not that these guys are trained by the military. They are the military. They are part. What I think today is not that they work under the army. I think Pakistanis have tried their adventures with us in 3 wars and then Kargil as well. And every time they have tried that, they have realized that no, it's not working. So basically, they have raised certain regiments, and they've named them these terror outfits, right? They've found words which mean certain things, and and they mean. So these are basically regiments and they probably have these passing out parades of terrorists who basically are trained. Their fatigues, by the way, like every trained army these days wears fatigues, right? When they conduct operations. So their fatigues are civilian clothing. And their targets are innocent civilians. This is what we need to realize. So, when we try to distinguish between the targets that, okay, this is terror infrastructure and this is army infrastructure and we should go after this, I think we should go after everything because obviously both the infrastructures are in total cahoots with each other. And that is what they keep selling, the idea that they are suffering. And a lot of Pakistani people say, this is what I said a couple of days back, and I'd like to say it again, that, we always have this hope that, their people are not bad people. Listen, these are your leaders. If our leaders are a reflection of us, and if Americans' leaders are a reflection of them, if British leaders are a reflection of them, or the German leaders are a reflection of the German people, or the Japanese or the Chinese, so on and so forth, well, the leaders that Pakistanis have today are a complete reflection of their own society. They accept the fact that yes, their army owns that country and the army runs everything. A fantastic thing. Okay, before I forget this, you know, we had this statement because in our country, it's the political leadership which decides how much control the army should have and what they should do, and basically it's the representatives of the people who govern the decision making of the Indian Army or the Air Force or the Navy, because they are basically part of us. Now, so based on that, our statements are such as well. And sometimes Pakistanis should realize, don't just cut, copy, paste. So there was a statement a couple of days back where they said that Prime Minister Modi has said free hand to the Indian Army, Navy and the Air Force to conduct whatever they would like to do to avenge such and such act that had happened. Makes sense, right? And it has happened with Mrs. Gandhi in the past, where she's ended up telling the then Chief Field Marshal Manik Shaw that, listen, it's up to you now, right? But the decision comes from the Prime Minister's office. Now, so we made that statement, and this statement seems to be doing the rounds, right? So it's like, it's like a social media influencer who looks at another more successful influencer and says, he's getting more views for that, and what I'm going to do is I'm probably just going to, and it's okay, it's allowed, right? Until unless you do not completely plagiarize somebody else's content, it is basically allowed, right? So they ended up using the line that Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has basically given the army the free hand and everything. Listen, when has the Pakistani army ever listened to their own Prime Minister? They put their own Prime Ministers in jails. There is such a person as Mr. Imran Khan, who right now is sitting in jail because he did not speak the way the army wanted to speak to him. Like, whatever. He had his disagreements and the fallout with the army. And look at what has happened. They have him in jail and there's things happening, the news coming. And anyways, so fact check on the news about what is happening to Imran Khan in jail says that it is probably not true. So, yes. So, and we are not going to be the ones who are going to, Pakistanis themselves can do whatever. And you fact check everything. So content creation is their game, right? So they realize that, sooner or later, India is going to do these strikes, right? So they came up with this idea of a downed plane. You know what they did? They picked up a picture of a MiG that had fallen in Rajasthan on exercise about a couple of years back, and they put it there. And they forget, because, I'll tell you what, they detest, learning new technology in the ideological schools and nurseries that they go to, that they probably are not keeping up with what's happening in the rest of the world, that where you do reverse image searches and you can find where an image has been picked up. So in our case, basically there were people in Pakistan who was just going on a road, and yes, when they saw those missiles, and we didn't need to create those scenes. I'll tell you what, if you give Pakistan enough time, they are probably going to use the videos, right, that of those Indian missiles falling on those targets on Pakistan. They are going to use those videos and make a video that they launched against us and they fell somewhere. So anyways, I'm not going to give them ideas. They can do whatever they want. And it's up to us if we just ignoring it. And another thing that we Indians need to realize is that the Pakistanis really keep us in a very high regard. They don't like the fact when we ignore them. So when Indians end up saying that let's progress, let's be the third biggest economy or the second biggest economy, or by 2047 we should be a developed country, they don't like it because they are not the part of our narrative and our story anymore. Pakistan really wants to be a part of our story all the time. Listen, you guys got what you wanted in 47, right? You got your own nation. Develop your own nation. Make your people proud. Come on. Listen, progress. Pakistanis have a lot of resources, right? They wanted to do CPEC and sell them to China and everything. Use those resources yourself. Make electric cars, batteries. We're not stopping you. See, if you could go and when you really wanted to be nuclear one day, you had one scientist who went to the West, stole the technology. Please send your scientists to China, steal electronic battery manufacturing and make an automobile company like BYD. And trust me, sell those BYDs to India. That will teach us a lesson. Let's see. One day India did not think any of us. Now 95% of electric cars sold in India are Pakistani. But do you think this can happen? Right? Why don't you do something like this? Make your own entertainment industry so big that your actors do not have to ever come and act in Bollywood. But then again, even our own Bollywood has so much. So mind you, one good thing to see was that there were some people from Bollywood like Akshay Kumar, Sunil Shetty, Anupam Kher, Kangana Ranaut, and all who praised the Operation Sindoor. But then again, there were people who were silent, and I'm sure we all know who they were. Why were they? Now this tells you that, we have given some people success and mega success, and they just can't even be bothered. They can't be bothered to condemn what happened in Pahalgam. They can't be bothered to be proud about what our boys in the Army, Navy and the Air Force did. And by the way, you know what? You will never hear our boys ever complain about this. That what, you guys don't... Have you ever heard an army man say it on Twitter? They don't have time for all this. They did what they had to do, right? Everybody was questioning. There were some people who were saying, would we be able to use the Rafales or this, that and the other? Well, these are the same people, even if you put them on tip of a BrahMos missile and send them across and say, listen, you sit on that missile and you'll see where it goes. That will prove it to you. This is what was done. They still won't believe it. So, yes, we'll always have those people, and I'm glad that those people are few and people supporting our boys on the borders are many. It felt really nice how in my own locality today everybody participated in those mock drills. Everybody came together. It was nice to see that, a city, like most Indian cities are basically chaos. You can't make similar, and I've made videos of the poor civic sense we Indians have and everything. But it felt so nice. I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about it, that, when we really want to come together, and, when we want to come together to give these boys a sindoor. There is sindoor can actually be used as, a couple of my friends use it as a slang as well. It is when you kick somebody between the... yeah, so that is also called sindoor, okay? So anyways, they got it, and I'm sure they're going to crib and cry a lot. The one unfortunate thing that has happened with these guys is that there were so many people with... I think the next thing Pakistanis are probably going to go after is people carrying camera phones. Because those are the people who have outed this entire thing that the strikes have actually happened, and they've happened so successfully, right? And they're using videos of video games right now. There's the one video which is their favorite right now, which they're showing again and again, is that they are going crazy with tracer rounds going across. That tracer thing that... If you hear clearly in that video, it is not even in our context. That's somewhere in the Middle East. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So, yes, Operation Sindoor has happened. And we already have the Pakistani defense minister saying that, his statement, two statements, one before this and one now, are in stark contrast. Uh, well, should we believe them? Because, it's deception is something that Pakistan learns from China, and Chinese are very good at it. See, Chinese on one side will end up saying to India that, let's thaw our relationship and better, and this we should do more trade and all that. And at the same point of time, they will basically mobilize on our borders. They'll say, no, we do not support terrorism and everything, but here, Pakistan, have a few PL-15s, right, to arm your planes. Come on, that's okay. Yeah. Turkey is living in a hangover that they would like to create the Ottoman Empire again. Malaysia probably thinks as well that they'll support Pakistan. So they probably want to, they will probably, I'm sure the sycophants they are, there's sometimes they were actually discuss this fact that, from Turkey till Malaysia, it'll all be the new Ottoman Empire 2.0. Ain't going to happen. Not happening. And I'll tell you why Turkey has more of a problem with us. Forget about them being brothers in arms with Pakistan. The more problem Turkey has with us is Turkey is this one big defense technology thief, so to speak, who has been able to do much better in armament technology because of the fact that they're part of NATO as well, and they probably reverse engineered a lot of stuff that they receive from the United States and everybody else, right? And with India becoming this new player in the arms and ammunition and everything, they probably feel that, hang on. Another thing that the Chinese and the Turkish probably want to do is they probably would like to battle test their equipment. Well, Chinese have made mega progress and they have but none of their equipment, that's what they do, ego challenge Taiwan all the time. Come on. And probably Chinese wish might come true as China becomes weaker and weaker and becomes easier to engage. And it's happening in China, right? And it's a very unholy alliance that these guys have. Pakistanis feel so much for the Muslims of our country that they are so traumatized in our country. Listen, at least in our country, everybody is getting enough to eat, not unlike you. Right? So, hang on, please. And you should hear what people on our side are saying as well. So, look at those things as well. Right? So, yeah, so you should hear Mr. Owaisi. What he has said? So, yeah, he said something amazing. He has basically said that he stands with the government. So, it's not only Pakistanis who can stand behind their military. Indians stand behind their military as well. If all Pakistanis stand behind their military, they still will be less if only half of the Indians stand behind their military right now. That's a reality and that's a fact. So, chill. Right? And all those, again I'll mention. So you want Sindoor to be followed by Suhagrat, so the one who fills the Sindoor only does the Suhagrat. Right? So, please, get your things straight. And it's not us who's responsible. Indians have not come to you or launched against you because, we just wanted to. We don't want to. We want to go back to work. We want our iPhones. We want stuff, boss. We want to watch our IPL in peace. And if you probably dismantle what you're doing right now and become a nation of peace will probably help you progress as well. Without basically, so please. But you should have to have that intent. Pakistan should have the intent to be a logical nation. But you cannot apply logic to Pakistan. Why do I keep forgetting that? So anyways, on that note, I think that's it for me for today. We've already done almost more than half an hour today. Wow, I'm getting good at ranting, right? So, anyways, so if it hurts anybody's sentiments, that is not what my intention is. Um, but I would encourage you to like, share, and subscribe. Please do help our channel grow, right? And if there are other talking points that have been going on in your mind, please mention that in the comment section as well. As for now, thanks for watching. Keep watching. Until next time, you take care of yourself. Bye for now and Jai Hind.